Hey, Margie here. Today we're focusing on our skin because our skin is our largest organ, and a lot of people don't realize that what we put on our skin has a major impact on our health and well being. And we know that there are things we want to avoid, but the good news is there's a lot of good things we can add to our skin that can help us looking radiant and young as we age. So I'm excited because our special guest is Brian Vaszily. And Brian is a renowned and respected natural health leader, researcher, and advocate. And for over 20 years, he has helped guide millions of people to research based natural health solutions. He's the founder of the art of anti-aging.com with over 500,000 members. And their mission is to empower those in middle age and their golden years with the most effective evidence-based natural solutions to look and feel their best, avoid and overcome disease, and live long. And Brian is also the founder of Purity Woods, which is a company, USDA Certified Organic skincare products that I personally happen to love. And today we're going to talk about, why our skin's so important, what we can do to reduce wrinkles, as well as just continue to look our best. So lots of great information. Stay tuned. Welcome, Brian. I'm very happy to have you here on the podcast. And I personally love this topic, and I know our listeners are going to really, really learn a lot. So thank you so much for being here.
Oh, I'm excited to be here. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm big into the backstory, how you got into health and wellness and being such an advocate but also really interested in how you got into healthy aging and longevity. Like what brought you to that aspect particularly? Because you've been doing this for quite a while now. So it's not as though, as you got older that you just wanted to concentrate on that. So why don't you fill us in on that? Because I think that's so fascinating.
Yeah, well, thanks for asking that. So I am now 52, and you could pretty much cut my life in half. And there's a long version of this story, but I will make it a shorter version of this story. And it's a pretty serious story. So the first half of my life was rather rough. I grew up inner city, Chicago, lost friends to gangs, tough neighborhood. But of most impact, I guess I'll say, is that, my father was a good man until around my age of 9. And then he became severely alcoholic, quite abusive to me, my sister, my mother. And he, I forgave years ago and worked through all this a long time ago. And that's super important, as I'm sure you know well, and you've shared with people, to work on those emotional traumas. And so long ago, I did work on that. But, that was a really rough patch. And then I became a very young father myself, was very poor. Living in a studio apartment that I couldn't even afford with my wife at the time. Again, at the age of 20, after my father had he finally did kick the bottle, but he spent a good 10 years dying, basically, with horrible diseases. And he was mostly inside hospitals, not out. Last 6 months of his life, he was inside hospitals. There was a lot of obvious emotion there with everything we had endured with him. Nonetheless, I could see and I knew he still loved me, but he was suffering in a big way in those final years. And I witnessed the healthcare system from the inside, I guess we'll say, as a very young man, watching my mom battle a very, frankly, inept system. And so saw a lot of things firsthand there that I had never wished I'd seen, and how inept it really was from the inside. So a lot of that, then I became, young father myself, very poor, as I noted. I remember having to sell a CD collection just to keep our heat on another month, for my baby and stuff like that. Rough, rough years. Nonetheless, to our credit, my wife and I at the time, we did go to school, full-time college, while I also worked full-time. So we were busy people. But long story short, I was quite down, depressed, suffered a lot of anxiety, a lot of related, especially with my gut issues. And, I'll just put it this way. The reason I'm sitting here alive today, and in fact thriving today, is powerful women who stood by me, who were there for me, who really kept me going. Certainly my mother, my sister, and other powerful figures in my life who were all female and really, really held me up. And I, was so grateful for these powerful women. So, um, you know, I'll make this real short. So one of the very first real jobs I got after college, still struggling, very non-traditional route, obviously, was inside of a pharmaceutical benefits management company. And then, so I was on the inside there, and I saw things inside that industry because I happened to work in communications. I was working with the top, executives, and I witnessed certain things. I guess I'll just say, which really verified for me that not there was good people inside of that industry. So it's not about the individuals, but it's about that industry as a whole, the pharmaceutical industry. It's a lot of things that people believe it is, which is not, the most helpful, truly, to our health and well-being. Okay, I'll just put it that way. And I quickly, as quick as possible, found my way out of that. So we're back 20 some years still, and I found well, actually, a doctor found me and said, he was a very interesting character. I'll put it that way. And he said, "Oh man, I want to really put my message out there." And I knew he was kind of unusual energy, but I also knew he was brilliant. And that man was Dr. Mercola. And nobody knew who he was at that time. And so he and I together built Mercola and Mercola.com. And I'm talking, again, 2001, 2, 3, took it from nothing to about 1 million opt-ins before I left there. It was a long time ago. And I know he's a controversial figure out there who, in this day and age, but that's really how I got my start in the industry. And then I started helping a lot of other doctors and researchers who were functional oriented, integrative oriented, natural health oriented. I helped a lot of folks behind the scenes become much more prominent, because I knew how, and I wanted to help get their message out there about taking control of your own health, about the benefits of natural health and these holistic ways of thinking about our bodies and not being in the chains, of the pharmaceutical system only. Long story short, I got to know a lot of people, helped a lot of people. Time moved on. Sometimes I was in front of the microphone and camera like I am now. Sometimes I was behind the scenes helping many prominent people out there. I helped Dr. Hyman way back in the day. So about, I don't know, 5 years ago now, I was at a crossroads and I could do a lot of different things. But I was watching this whole time as time really made an impact, and it wasn't a great impact even on many of these powerful women who had literally saved my life. My mother, who was 60s and then 70s, my sister in her 50s, my current wife as she hit her 40s. Um, and that message is very prevalent in our world, in our media, that getting older is equated with being over the hill, that it is a time of doom and suffering, and you're doomed to suffering and disease, and it's all downhill from here, as the saying goes. And the problem is that is a very pervasive message out there, even right now, about aging. It's not true, but it's very pervasive, and it was even impacting these powerful women in my own life. And I was like, wait a minute, I could see that message when people adopt that message that, oh, I'm getting older, that means I'm supposed to experience pain and, and wrinkles and, and so on and so forth. And I saw how powerful that message impacted people, so that it was a self-fulfilling prophecy almost. And it hits men, but it really hits women in this society, especially. I knew exactly what I was going to do because that went exactly counter to all of the good news that I had been hearing from all of my research, all of my working with all of these, brilliant MDs and other experts who were, cutting edge. I'm like, you know what? I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring to the world the most effective steps to look and feel your best, avoid disease, and live long doing it. Because the truth is, your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, even beyond ought to be the period in your life where you truly thrive in all regards. It's the opposite. It's uphill from here. Okay. And so that's what launched the art of anti-aging. Now, the anti in that name is not against, obviously, getting older. We all get older every moment. It's against these myths of aging that equate it with doom and suffering and being over the hill. Now, simultaneous almost to that, I launched Purity Woods, an organic skincare company. Now, there's a story behind that as well that I could get into, but real long story short, it's because that filled a role that I had not seen out there, which is truly clean, which is incredibly important, organic skincare that actually works. So, yeah, I gave you the short to mid-length version of that story. I hope that helped, and thanks
Yeah.
for asking.
No, I think it's important because I think it really helps people understand why you're so passionate about the work you do and what brought because otherwise they're thinking, "Why did he create this?" So I think
Yeah.
it just brings it all together. So let's focus on skin because I completely agree with you. These myths. Well, actually, even before we focus on skin, let's just focus on the myths because I know, just like I believe, you are very big into mindset. And so I think when we believe that, we do age. There's just not a question. Do you wanna just share your feeling about mindset and aging? And again, you've interviewed hundreds of people on this topic, so from all the experts as well. Do you have anything you wanna
Oh,
share about this?
yeah, well, we could sit here a good 2 hours and, discuss that because, um, we'll get to some amazing ingredients, that truly help you achieve younger looking skin, but the number one most amazing ingredient that helps you achieve younger looking skin, that helps you overcome issues, illnesses you have, all of it is your mindset. It all starts there. If you believe that getting older means I'm supposed to have wrinkles and skin that has the appearance of sagging, and that I'm supposed to have bones that ache, and a body that aches, and I'm supposed to take longer to get over infections. Well, if you believe that, clearly the mind is such a powerful thing. That is what's going to happen. But that is not true at all. When we talk about skin, it is ultimately it's an organ. It's our largest organ of our body, and it like any other organ, your whole health when your whole health is improving, your skin, including the appearance of it, is going to improve. It's not this disconnected. We treat it often in this society like clothing, almost something to experiment on. We don't think of it as an organ, and a lot of people wouldn't take all these chemicals and place it on their heart or their lungs or their kidneys, but they will freely, without thinking twice, throw chemicals on their skin. It's odd when you step back. It's really odd. Um, so in terms of mindset, I will tell people, I would challenge people to really go through in a quiet place. What do I really believe getting older means? Now, it's not bad when we discover, holy cow, I do believe this is my time of decline. It's not a bad thing to discover that. And many people will, if they're truly being honest with themselves, discover that. And then I will challenge people to correct that. And you can't just say, hey, change that thinking, right? But I will tell you, after 20 some years now, deeply in the research, like you said, working with so many top experts, this truly is your time to thrive. We are we are born to live a good 100 years. Now, some people there's individuals out there, obviously, over the last decade or so, especially, who've really been pushing the envelope and say 120, 130. We'll see. But I can tell you with confidence that you ought to feel vibrant, alive, and look your amazing best at least into your 90s, if not up to and slightly at least beyond 100. And then there's some natural decline if we were doing everything right. The beautiful news, and you've certainly shared this with your audience in a wonderful way, but the beautiful news is it's never too late. And some of the changes we can discuss here today, and many of the changes that you have shared through all the other experts, make a big difference, and can do so quite quickly in many regards. When it comes to the skin, the most beautiful news is it's typically a first responder, meaning it wants the positive changes, and it changes quickly. So in other words, when you start taking some of the right steps, your skin is going to respond in a beautiful way that you're going to like, including when you look in the mirror. Here's the thing. Most people today, I can say this, and it sounds depressing, but it's not, but most people today look far older than they ought to. So it's not about trying to look, if you're, 52 or 62, it's not about trying to look like you're 21. That has a little emotional challenge to it, if that's what someone's battle is. That's not what it's about. It's about trying to look as young and healthy as you ought to look, including your skin. Intuitively, a lot of people know, oh my God, I shouldn't have all those wrinkles and that, age spots and all that. And they're right. And it's got everything to do with the same old offenders that offend our health in other ways. Poor diet, the toxins we'll talk about for sure, the exercise, all the usual suspects cause us to look older than we ought to look quickly. Again, the beautiful news is some right steps, just start taking some of those right steps. Skin is the fastest to respond out of all the body's organs. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more because I work with people, with bone health and osteoporosis, all ages. And I mean, I'm 64 myself. I've never felt better in my life. And I work with people who've been exercising and doing all these great things, and they have the time now, which I think, some people, and they've just made decisions in their life and they're thriving.
Yep.
They've just, they're really enjoying themselves. And I think that's important. And I think we want to take all the steps. But it's so interesting to me, recently, it's around holiday time and the cosmetic counters are packed,
Mm.
and I always think to myself, people know. You would think they know in a way, but they just don't seem to care. And it's probably one of the easiest things that you can make a replacement for. To me, I just don't understand. It's not that they're less expensive either. It's not that, it's going to be way more expensive to get a healthy product, that doesn't have all these ingredients, but maybe doesn't have the name brand, or it's just very interesting to me that it doesn't seem to resonate with people for some reason. I mean, I think a lot of the people listening, yes, because they want to do and be as healthy as possible and learn why this really matters. So I couldn't agree with you more. So let's start with the skin and the steps you would take and tell us about the ingredients because I don't think a lot of people know. We'll start with what to add. Let's start with what really can make a difference and really can make your skin look different. And then we'll go to some things maybe that we want to avoid. But let's just start with what you've discovered. And you've discovered some great things that really make a difference.
Sure. Yeah, we could do it either way, talk about what to avoid, then what you want to feed
Either
or
way, do you have a preference? If you have a preference,
well, yeah, if you don't mind, I will branch off because you're right. A lot of people are bedazzled by this the skincare products industry is incredible at marketing. I mean, they are incredible. And a typical person, none of us want to admit that we have been bamboozled. It's trait number one, and that's what marketers really love is the fact that people will say, yeah, other people are falling for that nonsense, not me. Nobody believes they are. However, they are. Okay, because the numbers show it. You mentioned, one of the most prominent categories is not your $9.99, cheap item, frankly, in terms of cosmetics at Walmart. It's your, 80, 90, $100, you know, tiny little vial that's supposed to work magic. But it doesn't matter. Virtually all of these are loaded with toxins. I will say this, I'll start by saying this, that the cosmetics and personal care products industry, so we're talking everything from moisturizers to deodorants and beyond, it's the most unregulated industry now in the United States. And there has not been substantial legislation since 1938. In 1938, the FDA mandated, hey, personal care and cosmetics industry, you're on your own. Self-regulate. We trust you. And and a few, politicians have tried over the years, but there's been no substantial legislation since. And I will tell you that it is a wild west. Anybody listening out there could put anything that they want in a bottle, call it a moisturizer, call it whatever they want, and literally stick it on a shelf. There's no oversight. Now, what you don't want to do is put any ingredients in there, of course, that are going to immediately be caustic and harm people immediately, because then it's easy to tie to your product. But what's going on instead is that it is a wild west. I don't need to tell a lot of people this. Turn the product around, look at the label. You'll see so many things that you can't pronounce that you don't even know what they are. My question is, we're sucked into the marketing, back off. Why would you put that on this essential organ in your body? We have been bamboozled in a big way. Nobody would take that and eat it, although I would prefer to do so, frankly, because here's the thing. There are three ways of nourishment physically, essentially, into your body. One, what you put in your mouth, food, water, liquids. Number two, the air you breathe through your lungs. Three, what you put on your skin. It's not on your skin. Whatever you're putting on your skin is food. It's at least the number I've seen is 68% of it is going into your body. Interestingly, again, I've been in this, for decades now, and way back when I started, there was a lot of, "Oh my god, organic food, hippy dippy, you're crazy," that was going on back then, and then it's, changed over time, and I don't think anybody listening here would say, "What? You're crazy. Avoid processed foods? You're out of your mind," now the message got on with the food we're putting in our mouth. But we're a good 10 to 12 years behind when it comes to the food we're putting on our skin. People, like you said, are not yet thinking about that. Even health conscious people are not clicking, so many of them, and are not aware of that yet. But what you put on your skin, if the molecules are small enough in each of these ingredients, they penetrate your skin. Well, guess what? They're designed to penetrate your skin, or else they're not going to have any type of effect at all. So, all these ingredients, these synthetics, these toxics, these potentially toxic ingredients penetrate your skin. In many cases, they penetrate all the way down to your blood. They therefore are shot around your body. They accumulate over time in your organs, your bones, and they're toxic. They're toxic because here's a couple key statistics for you. The average woman consumes, and I say consumes, but we'll say uses 12 personal care products a day, including cosmetics, on average, of which contain 168 different chemicals daily. All right. Now, another statistic to pair against that. In the European Union, and actually over 40 countries, there are now over 1,600 chemicals that have been banned from cosmetics and personal care products. Here in the USA, 11. Just 11 ingredients have been banned. It's an incredibly powerful industry. When people say, "What is the beauty industry?" Well, it's not just your big names out there, the makeup and the cosmetic companies, and it's also the chemical companies. They benefit tremendously. So it's well over a $500 billion a year industry, and they have a lot of leverage. Wild West, highly unregulated. You're on your own. They're not going to stick stuff in there that hurts you right away. Typically, it's happened, but more so stuff that harms you in the short to midterm, mid to long term, and certainly over the long term. Again, 1,600 chemicals banned elsewhere, just 11 here. It is a Wild West. I'll pause there because that's a startling statistic. I don't know if you have any questions.
I just think it's so sad that something
Mm,
can't be sold in Europe, so they send it over to the United States because it can be sold here. To me, that it's really horrible, and it's just something that people need to know about because, you know, I look, we live in a toxic world, but our body can handle some toxins, but we wanna minimize. We wanna minimize as much as possible, like, why put added? Because at that point, we go over our threshold, and that's when so much disease and so many issues happen because of this. So I couldn't agree with you more, and it is so sad. Those statistics are just startling and very upsetting that, here we live in this country but the good news, I'm always look at the positive. You've done a lot and there's so much that can be done. And this is years ago, there may not have been good substitutions. Maybe,
right.
oh, I'll use this organic product or I'll use this and it's horrible. My skin looks horrible. And there was such a difference. But what I've seen is just the opposite. I've seen the good products, and I can talk about yours as well because I've been using that recently. These products really, really are better. So you're looking better, feeling better, and you're not having any of these negative effects. So it's just a win-win situation. And yeah, so
Thank
it's
you.
an
Well,
easy swap though. Yeah. I mean, if you
yeah,
want me to well, why don't you go into more and then we can talk about it afterwards because I don't ever talk about anything that I don't try myself. And there are a lot of companies that I like. I think there are good quality. There's some very good quality, cosmetics out there. Organic, healthy ingredients and clean. And so when I tried Purity Woods, I tried 3 products. So I tried your Under the Eye, I tried your Dream Cream, and your Night Cream.
yep.
And I said, "Okay, let me see." Well, what happened was I was also well, actually, first I tried them and I'm like, "Oh, this is really great." I happen to love them. I love them so much that I just reordered all of them. I haven't there's like 2 new ones I haven't tried yet. I just said, "You know what? I wanna get the, serum, and I wanna get, I think, the cleanser, yeah.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
was in the bathroom at, an event that we just saw each other at, actually, the Mindshare, an event with health and wellness practitioners, and I'm hearing people say, "Oh, my skin's never looked better," and these are practitioners. And then I walked out, I said, "Oh, I'm just curious, I heard you speaking, what." I knew this person. I said, "Oh, what are you using?" And she goes, "Oh, Purity Woods." So just a
That's
compliment
wonderful.
to you. Anyway, it's a really wonderful product, but tell us why it's wonderful and, what, because you discovered some really great ingredients that actually have properties that can impact our skin.
Right, right. Yep. Well, so the takeaway message from that first segment is uh, when you are pushing your grocery cart down the cosmetics aisle, the personal care products aisle, or looking online, remember, please, no matter what you choose, if you choose Purity Woods or anything else, you're pushing it down a food aisle. That is a key takeaway here. Don't allow anything into your body if you can avoid it that's going to potentially be toxic. We're talking, potentially carcinogenic. These are endocrine disruptors allowed in these products in a big way. I could talk all day about, there's so many bad ingredients to watch out for that it's impossible. We're talking 1,600 banned ingredients elsewhere in Europe and elsewhere, only 11 here. That would be a lot of products to memorize to watch out for. So indeed, like you said, the good news is that in other categories of personal care too, I'm seeing more and more organic, truly clean alternatives. And I'm like, thank goodness. And that's because of, you know, well, folks like all of us, in this industry who are trying to, share these messages that don't get out there otherwise, really. So kudos to you and everyone else who's helped, push the message out on that front, so people are very aware of this. Like you said, I mean, our bodies are overburdened with toxins from all directions these days. It's impossible. You're never going to, completely eliminate that. The key is always find ways to reduce. So with that said, thank you for the kind words regarding Purity Woods. You were talking about our age defying dream cream, which is our number one bestseller. And by the way, right now we're offering that for over 30% off and free shipping. I must, at puritywoods.com. And then the age defying eye cream and the age defying night cream you mentioned as well, which happen to be, by the way, our three best sellers. We don't have a huge range of products because I'm going to tell you something here. Here's a secret. It's really hard to create USDA certified organic products that are also incredibly effective. It takes a lot of work. The reason that these, boutiques on up to the giants put all these synthetics is because it makes it much cheaper and easier for them. It's not to help your skin. It's to help it sit on the shelf or mix better. All these synthetic things in there. That's what it's for. But let me tell you the great news, although it's not easy to discover, is that nature really does provide, and nature still knows far more what it's doing than any human being in a lab. And so there are some incredible ingredients out there for skin. And I went, on a search, and I geek out on this. So I love this stuff, and I'm exploring this constantly. What are the best ingredients? What does the research say? I'm digging in deep. I started the company Purity Woods because Frank, here, I was getting crow's feet around my own eyes. And my wife, who's a cosmetologist, by the way, she was getting crow's feet. And we're like, okay, I know exactly what I'm looking for, honey. I said to her, I wanted to have these ingredients. And of course, it needs to be clean. I'm not feeding my skin and therefore my body any junk that can hurt me. Went looking, couldn't find it. And so, really long story short, worked with some formulators in Canada, and we came out with the age defying dream cream, but it didn't have a name. And I was the first customer, and my wife was the second customer. We used it. We're like, holy cow. It worked like gangbusters. I'm like, well, of course I'm going to offer this to the world. Basically, this is amazing. And the rest is basically history. I'm just going to say I'm proud that Purity Woods is really one of the fastest growing clean skincare companies out there, period. And it's mostly, thank goodness to folks like you, word of mouth. Because the age defying dream cream, the age defying night cream, they all work like gangbusters. Now, what do they contain? Again, you got me on my passion topic now. You can see my energy's going up here. And one of this, well, probably the coolest, I'll say, superstar ingredient of all in these products is maple leaf extract, which you don't see in most other products yet. Now I know, I mean, looking at it from a business perspective, I'm like, as word gets out that I'm going to have a lot of competition soon. Well, let me tell you, University of Rhode Island in 2018 did a study on red maple leaf extract and found that it contains over 100 compounds, including 17 that they had not seen elsewhere in nature. Natural, obviously, right? That actually can block elastase. Now, that's a big deal for your skin because basically there's two components protein wise in your skin: collagen and elastin. And collagen, I like to compare it to the old fashioned mattress. Collagen is like the stuffing in a mattress, and when that starts to go, it starts to cave in. You'll start to get some wrinkles and all that. And a lot of people have heard about collagen, but elastin is like the springs themselves in the mattress. And if that starts to go, everything caves in. You get some serious wrinkles, the appearance of sagging skin, so on and so forth. Well, maple leaf extract, they found that it blocks elastase, which is what causes the breakdown of elastin. So it actually not only can stop, but actually reverse the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, saggy looking skin. And they found in a separate study also helps with age spots, liver spots, they also call them. It's a magical ingredient. And we have 3 different maple leaf extracts in the Age Defying Dream Cream and in the Age Defying Eye Cream for that matter. So that's one of the superstars. Now, it really, with the Age Defying Dream Cream, let's focus there, as well as the night cream, but I'll just stay focused on the Age Defying Dream Cream. It covers all the key bases that you want covered, and it does so with truly natural ingredients that are independently, by the way. We don't get to say, hey, it's certified organic. We have to go through an incredibly strict process to have that independently certified, that there's nothing toxic in there, and that even the ingredients that are in there were raised organically. In other words, no pesticides, herbicides, etc. It's hard work to do that. So it's USDA certified organic, and it also contains incredible vitamin C rich ingredients that are also high in other antioxidants. Well, that covers the collagen side of the equation. And I'm talking about Alma. Have you heard about Alma? It's
I've heard about it, but I
yeah,
don't think most people have, and I think that's important. Most people do know about vitamin C is really good for your
right.
skin, and so a lot of people are using vitamin C serums, and vitamin C has definitely made it to mainstream, so it's something I think everybody knows, but tell why this is a little different vitamin C.
Sure. Well, first of all, amla is also known as Indian gooseberry. It's one of the most cherished plants, and the berry itself, which you ever eat it, it's really good for you too, by the way, is super sour. So you want it, if you ever eat it in supplement form, is the way to go because it's ridiculously sour. It's actually one of the 3 ingredients in Triphala, which is in Ayurvedic medicine. It's like the mix of 3 herbs that is healing. Well, it's amazing for your skin as well. It turns out. It's sky high in vitamin C, 30 times more than oranges, I believe it is, but also other powerful antioxidants. And it really helps the collagen aspect in your skin and more, by the way. The antioxidants themselves are essential for your skin health, but we'll focus on the collagen aspect. So it's helping in that regard. There's another fruit from South America called camu. Camu, fun word to say. It's a little berry that grows there as well. And that's in the Age Defying Dream Cream. That's even higher in vitamin C. Mango seed extract is another wonderful ingredient on many levels for what it can do to your skin, including the vitamin C and other antioxidants. Well, that's in there as well. So let me jump back. So there's those 2 components, elastin and collagen. They both can degrade as you get older, but you don't have to allow them to. It's what you feed your body, in this case, through your skin. And then the bad habits that so many people have can degrade them much faster. Well, environmental toxins themselves, ironically, some of these products that people feed their skin hoping to help actually hurt you midterm, long term. Beyond that, poor diet, not drinking enough water, all the usual suspects again. Well, so those can break down the elastin and collagen in your skin. So you want to address the elastin, you want to address the collagen, you want to, of course, address moisture, hydration. Not everybody, but most people know that already, and that's a key component. And then there's kind of 2 subcategories. Antioxidants. You want to avoid the free radicals that are destroying the cells in your skin. So you want antioxidant rich ingredients to do that. And then, of course, you want powerful anti-inflammatory oriented ingredients because there's a lot of inflammation in our bodies, period. And that goes for your skin as well. All those factors, elastin, collagen, moisture, antioxidants, and inflammation contribute to skin that looks older than it should, long story short. You start feeding your body the right ingredients through your skin, which of course is absorbed and eaten by your body and impacts your skin first and foremost. It helps, by the way, your nutrition in other ways, no matter how you're getting your nourishment. So interestingly, when you put these natural ingredients on your skin, you're actually doing a little for the rest of your body as well, not just your skin, but of course it's mostly helping your skin, right? So you've got your vitamin C and antioxidant rich ingredients in the age defying dream cream, the mango seed extract I mentioned, the camu camu, the amla or Indian gooseberry. You've got this amazing 3 maple leaf extracts helping the elastin side of the equation. You've got astaxanthin, which is also, in my words, nature's other miracle. Astaxanthin comes from red algae, and it is what gives flamingos their pink color. It gives salmon their pink color. They love eating this algae for good reason. This algae is incredibly potent with some very unique antioxidants. For human beings, it's also great to take that by mouth. Some people may have heard that, and it's amazing for your skin. That contains antioxidants that can actually reverse the appearance of weather damaged skin. In other words, so many of us, yeah, you're around my age. And by the way, you look great. I just wanted to throw that in sideways on you. It shows and it's funny because people will, I know the compliment is, oh, you look 10 years younger, but you look how someone your age ought to look, by the way, which is a huge compliment. You look great. That goes to my message earlier that it's not about trying to look younger, it's about trying to look as great as you can. And you look wonderful. Anyway, where was I going with that?
Thank you.
Our age, we, when we were younger, you might remember that we didn't get the message about staying out of the sun, somewhat. And instead we got the message to put baby oil on our skin and go, tan all the time. Well, there's a line. We need vitamin D, obviously, so we need to be in the sun somewhat, but there isn't overdoing it. You don't want to burn, and many of us spent our youth burning. And
Yeah,
so,
with the reflector in the backyard,
yeah,
absolutely, and the
all
baby oil. Yep, you
you
got
got it right. And so
it.
a lot of people, in their 40s, especially 50s and 60s, that they have sun damaged skin. Well, astaxanthin's amazing for helping with that. And I can go on. I mean, there's other great ingredients in this. On the inflammation side, everybody knows a great tea to drink is chamomile, right? Well, guess what? Chamomile is an incredible ingredient for your skin to help with the inflammation, and that's in the age-defying dream cream. And I told you I could geek out on this. I can keep going and going because I love this. But the bottom line, big picture is nature really does provide. It's and it's finding the research on the best ingredients that are out there. Those ingredients are out there. There is a way because we've done it to take it, to keep it clean, to not add a bunch of junk that can harm you, and to put it out there. And I've been around so many different types of product launches over the decades now, but these products at Purity Woods are what I'm most proud of because, like you said, they work wonders and they're clean, so they're not harming people in any way.
Yeah, I really didn't know what to expect, and as I said, I really don't let anyone come on the podcast if I don't love their product because I don't wanna spread but this first of all, it lasted a really long time too. It wasn't like I just got rid of it. It seemed to last a long time, but I so far I've been really thrilled with it. I just have been, right away I'm pretty quick. I sort of noticed some nice things, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's really great. But there's 2 things I wanted to talk about. Because a lot of times, you'll see on the product all natural, GMO free, and they'll have a whole thing, that it's safe, that, you could see like 5 different certifications, but a lot of them really don't mean that much. And so I love the fact there's not that many cosmetics that actually, you want to just explain how cosmetics got into that USDA certification, which we trust and know for food. But I think that's so wonderful because it does give us a safeguard because certain things just absolutely aren't allowed. So if you want to just
Yeah.
briefly
Oh, I'd
talk
love
about
to.
that.
Right. Well, beware of greenwashing, everybody, please. Again, these companies from boutiques on up to the massive giant cosmetics and personal care products companies, they know that the industry is turning in this direction, again, because of folks getting the message out. And so they're still, frankly, trying to bamboozle people. How are they doing that? Well, they can throw the word organic on the front of a label if there's one organic ingredient in there and then there's 25 synthetic ingredients. Don't fall for what's on the front of the label that the company is saying. They call it natural. That means nothing. All natural, wild crafted. All these phrases really are just marketing phrases. You are looking for independent, strict certifications that you trust. Um, Again, I wish I could say to people, just watch out for these 5 ingredients. And if they're not in there, you're going to be okay. But again, 1,600 plus ingredients have been banned elsewhere. You can't do that. So you do want to look for these independent certifications you trust. Like you said, the one that most people are aware of here in the US is USDA Certified Organic. Now, they applied that to food. Now, isn't it interesting? And I must applaud the Agricultural Department of the United States, because it's interesting that they said, wait a minute, this is also food, what you're putting on your skin. They get it. And I'm like, wow, that's actually, insightful, good for them. And so they started applying USDA certified to things we're feeding our body through our skin. And again, I mentioned as someone involved in that business, it's really hard to do. It is super strict. It's no joke. So I would tell you that basically what that means is well over 95% of the ingredients in that product are truly organic. What about the other, 4-5% that could be allowed? There's a very short list of safe ingredients that are covered by that as well. Now, sometimes, for example, you can't certify organic a mineral. It's not grown in the ground. It's a mineral, right? And so, they have to have some leeway, for ingredients like that when they say certified organic. You won't find certified organic zinc. If somebody's saying that, something's weird, because zinc is not grown, it's a mineral. And again, it's important just to repeat that means 2 things. It means there's no toxic ingredients in that product. And the ones that are in there, such as in our case, again, the maple leaf trees that source the leaves, that source the extracts that are in there, the Alma and Indian gooseberry and so on and so forth. Those were all grown organically, no synthetics. So it's a really today, it's the most trustworthy that I have seen and found out there. Some states have certifications that are worthwhile as well. If you live elsewhere, I don't want to exclude you. I don't know the whole world's different certifications, but I could tell you there's a pretty strong one in Europe and elsewhere called Eco Cert. So look for that on your products. But yeah, USDA certified. It's just important to look for. And thank goodness, again, not just our products, but again, in other areas. I see them on deodorants and some toothpastes. It's spreading now, and you can find those increasingly, including even in the big box stores with some of these, which is encouraging to see. So, yeah.
Yeah, because it is, as you said, you can't go through all the ingredients. And before we end, I just wanted to say the fragrance. I think that to me is always, fragrance. You think, how bad can that be? But that, right?
Yeah, yeah,
We're not going to
yeah.
go into that, but
Oh,
you know,
really briefly, because you said it, I have to, and I'll give it, my best concise shot. One telltale ingredient to watch out for on labels is fragrance. Why? That can mean any of hundreds or even more of different ingredients that they don't have to tell you about. And there has been research, EWG and others, who have unveiled what that is. And it's a lot of potentially toxic and carcinogenic ingredients, sometimes under that pretty word fragrance. Why don't they have to tell you? Because that's a trade secret, how they got their little special artificial smelling fragrance. Sometimes it's called scent or parfum. Just watch out for that ingredient. And I always put the product back and run the other way if I see that on a product. But yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
yeah. Well, any last minute things? This has been so helpful, and thank you for your generous offer and the discount, and that will all be in the show notes. And the good news about this is you can try it. You try the product. It's not as though you won't see results. You be your own test. Am I right about that?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, there's a 60-day guarantee. And if you don't like it, please do take advantage of that. I mean, I tell the people that all the time. Again, I've been around natural health products for decades, and I've been around some great ones out there. We have an incredibly low return rate. However, I have no problem saying it. There's occasionally some, right? And there's not everything is going to please everybody all the time. So I stress to people, remember that, because if you don't like it, I wouldn't want you, to be caught with something. With that said, I'm proud of the fact that this helps virtually everyone. I've never seen so many people. Everyday customers will call them writing in just to say, "My God, thank you. This really has helped something where nothing else has." I'm not surprised because again, I did the research and it really does contain some of Earth's greatest gifts, frankly, for your skin are in there. In the age defying dream cream, in the age defying night cream, in the age defying eye cream, they are in there. And it's clean, which I'm also feel really good about because it's genuinely clean, so it's not going to harm you in any way. So all I'll say is a thank you to you for what you do, and you do it really well, by the way, giving folks like me a forum to talk about all of this, and I really appreciate what you do.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, my goal is just to spread information that can be helpful. And, besides for your bones, your overall health, your happiness, and reducing stress. And, we all want to look good. It's not a matter of that, we don't want to take care of ourselves, but we don't want to look good at the expense of doing damage to our bodies. But the fact in today's day and age, thanks to like you, we can. Why not? Why not look your best and feel your best? And, when you combine all these things and as you say, thrive. So it's not anti-aging, it's thriving as you age. So yeah. So anyway, thank you so much. It's really been a pleasure, and I look forward to staying in touch.
Thank you again.
I hope you enjoyed my interview with Brian and have a better understanding why it really matters what we put on our skin, as well as some of the great ingredients that can really make a difference. Because why shouldn't we look as good and healthy as we possibly can? So all the links that Brian talked about will be in the show notes, as well as and the information on the discount that he's providing us. So thanks so much for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.